What's up, everyone? Welcome to 49ers Coast to Coast. That's Jason Aponte. I'm tired and sweaty. We're both in the Bay Area right now. He's down in the South Bay. I just drove up to Oakland, and I'm not looking so hot, but I'm feeling great. It's been a long 4 days, and today was by far the most interesting. Today was the day that the quarterback competition finally took a turn. And we've talked, I'm sure you know about it already, but Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 picks, and Trey Lance didn't, and that's where we stand. So Jason was there yesterday. He was there today. I'd love to get your the way I look at it is Trey Lance is now leading this quarterback competition. Is that the way you see it?
See, the thing is because I wasn't there the first 2 days, and I can only go off of what was said. I'm going to reserve judgment on that. What I will say about today was anybody who was excited about what Trey Lance brings to this offense today was your moment. Okay.
Yeah.
His first rep was a scramble out of the pocket where there was nothing but green grass in front of him, which 49er fans should be used to, those back-breaking first downs that they've seen. Kyler Murray does it to them. Russell Wilson does it to them. So now they have somebody who can do that. The read option was dominant today. Dominant. And I'm talking about Trey Lance was literally pulling the ball out of the belly. The defense was running the other way, and there was nothing but green grass in front of Trey Lance. So if someone does trip him up, it's after 30 or 40 yards, if at all.
Yeah.
So, and then the throws are still there. And today, I will say this, Trey Lance's accuracy issues, they didn't really show up as much as they did yesterday. So yesterday, he was a little bit high in drills in 11 on 11s. Today, he wasn't. He threw darts, so knew how to drop on him. Today was really, really a good step for Trey Lance. So is he winning? I can say 2 things. Jimmy Garoppolo looked better today, even with the 2 picks, because he actually threw the ball. His average depth of target went from 0 yards to 15 to 20, and you saw that, and that was actually happening today. And there were some impressive throws today. Don't get it twisted.
We'll talk about Garoppolo.
Yes,
he did have someone. Yeah.
Yes, but with Lance today, it felt like Kyle Shanahan today was like, okay, let's unleash this zone read on these guys, and the defense was not ready for it. I understand it's the twos, but for them to be completely confused and have the defense literally running to the other side with Trey Lance having the ball in his hand and going the other way, it was really something to see. And that dynamic that Trey Lance brings, that's what should get 49er fans excited, because that's something that they have watched happen to them over and over. And now you have a guy who, when things don't go right, especially on that first rep, is able to go get those 10 yards for you and make something out of nothing, which is what should excite you.
Here's why I say Trey Lance is winning the quarterback competition. I think it's all about perception in the building. And for the first few days, everyone was talking about Jimmy. Like, we don't really know about Trey. He's new. We've won with Jimmy. We're not going to talk about Trey yet. We're going to back Jimmy. And now, after a day like today, everyone's talking about Trey. No one's talking about him anymore. And I feel like it's probably hard for the veterans to get their mind around ditching Jimmy Garoppolo for Trey Lance in June. But once you go through camp and you're Deebo Samuel and you see Trey Lance hit you for bomb after bomb, he's done it twice. And then Jimmy tried and hesitate.
That double clutch killed him.
Yeah, I mean, and then just totally miss it. I think a lot of players are realizing, like, hey, Trey Lance is going to make me better. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't going to make me better. Trey Lance is going to make me better. And I think the organization is starting to realize this is going to happen soon.
Right. Another thing that I noticed is yesterday's practice was very short, and there's an off day tomorrow. So it almost felt like there was a plan. Kyle Shanahan says, okay, let's keep it short on Friday. Saturday, we're gonna have an extended 11 on 11 period, because they almost had about 15, 16 reps each, and that was what was really telling. And it seems like any sort of, I guess, inclination against how he runs his practices, there was a plan in place. Short practice Friday, long practice Saturday, off day on Sunday. Monday is going to be there, and then Tuesday they get into pads. So today felt a lot different than yesterday, and it was much easier to see things once they moved onto the field closer to us. So I was able to see much more. But what Trey Lance was able to do with the zone read and the read option, man, I don't know if that has to do with the twos being on defense, but Trey Lance, man, that really looked like the things that 49er fans dread when they face the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks, is those type of back-breaking runs. Everyone's covered. The pressure gets there. He sneaks out of the pocket, 10 yards, first down, back-breaking. That type of thing was what was happening today with Trey Lance.
He's the best quarterback I've ever seen on the 49ers in practice. I've been covering the team 11 camps. I mean, I've seen Alex Smith in his prime. I saw young Colin Kaepernick, and Colin Kaepernick was great. I'm comparing Trey Lance to Colin Kaepernick in my mind because it's the same setting, and the velocity is the same. I think part of the reason that Lance doesn't throw a lot of picks is the same reason Kaepernick did. They throw the ball so hard, defenders can't. So hard, and every time the velocity pops out, you're like, wow. But Lance is better than Kaepernick, at least in practice, because in practice, Kaepernick would look to scramble all the time. I remember it. And defensive players on the team would make fun of him. Carlos Rogers would laugh on the sideline when Kaepernick was with the twos and Rogers was watching and be like, dude, we're here to see you throw. Like, you're not going to take Alex Smith's job doing that. Trey Lance doesn't do that. He's taking Jimmy Garoppolo's job playing Jimmy Garoppolo's style of play. And today was the first day that he ran when he was finally allowed to be himself, and he looked great. So he actually he's a whole different mentality than Kaepernick in practice.
So yesterday when he had to evade pressure, he was still behind the line of scrimmage throwing passes. So today it didn't feel like that's what was going on. It almost felt like Kyle was like, okay, if you see the lane, take it. Now run. Now show what you can do. So that dynamic today, that it left a lot of people breathless. Like, I mean, I looked around like, are you guys seeing this? Like the defense is literally on the other side of the field and he has the ball running the other way. And that's something that the 49ers, again, they've seen it time and time again, and now they have a quarterback that can do that on top of the arm talent. So today I was impressed with Trey Lance today. I really was. Yeah,
me too. Okay. Brian says, I'm excited that the Niners defense has a mobile quarterback to practice against. Well, you predicted our next topic, how Lance is helping the Niners defense.
Wait a minute.
Ryans.
Was it so CJ Beathard wasn't good enough to run scout when he was running for Russell Wilson? Like, come on, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson.
D'Amico Ryans and Eric Armstead brought this up after practice. That like it's good that they can get some looks against a scrambling quarterback, a mobile quarterback before the week of the game that they're facing Kyler Murray. Yeah. And it just occurred to me, like, right, part of the reason they stunk at containing scrambles in the past is they don't ever do that in training camp, ever. And now they do.
And it's a good thing, I would like to see him do it against the ones, because it's hard to all right. So there's a school of thought that I've been like kind of grappling with in my own mind as far as, man, Trey Lance is going against the twos. How will he look against ones? And that's the sort of thing that's kind of got me like not on the fence, but I like reserving judgment at this point, because it is a very, very good point. It's not the same when, Jason Verrett was incredible today. He allowed one catch to Deebo Samuel on Jimmy Garoppolo's first throw, and it almost felt like, and I took that personally, the Michael Jordan thing, because that was it. He was done. He locked up everybody. Brandon Ayuk, everybody that he faced, he was upset. So I want to see those dynamics, right? Jimmy Garoppolo, at times, it wasn't that he was hesitant. It's guys were covered, right? This is the first team defense. They were covered, so he had to do other things. So I'm interested to see how that works out. But this should help with D'Amico Ryan seeing, okay, this is, what are they doing? How do we fix this? And you have a guy in your practice, in your building that can give you practice for guys that run things that are similar. So it is a good point to make. But I'd like to see him do it against the ones so we could see, because I don't know if Fred Warner would allow the defense, or they would allow the defense to be caught all the way off to the other side the way that they were today. And it was low-key embarrassing for the twos because they were so far away from the play. Like, they weren't even close. They were nowhere near it.
I just think it's fair to assume that this defense is going to be better than the previous defenses under Robert Saleh at stopping mobile quarterbacks. And it wasn't Saleh's fault. I think we always wonder, like, why is that the Achilles heel? And I think it's fair to point out that, well, they face Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard. That's who they see. And then they don't even start to look at these kind of stuff until week of. So that's not the case anymore. They also have Samson Ebukam they should be much better at containing mobile quarterbacks, which is such a huge thing in the NFL now. So that's good.
I think so too. Definitely.
Yeah. Chris says, has Lance done anything to change your mind that he will potentially be the starter day one? I've seen 4 practices and he looks good each time. What do you think?
So 2 practices. Yesterday, I saw some accuracy issues, but I also saw him take chances that are not seen by any of the quarterbacks. And today, I didn't see those accuracy issues. I saw a guy who was also, using the zone read, which is it unlocks so much. There's passing lanes that'll open up when teams fear you ripping it down and running. So like that unlocks so much. And just point to how RG3 performed in Washington with Kyle Shanahan in that offense. They weren't a pass heavy offense, even though RG3 threw for about 3,700 yards that year, offensive rookie of the year. They were a large, heavy run team, but that dynamic that Trey Lance brings, it's different. It puts pressure on the defense. DeMeco Ryans went into the press conference and talked about the stress that literally what Trey Lance did today puts on the defense. That's not something that Jimmy Garoppolo is doing right now. So in that way, I don't know if it changes my mind right now. I'm still going to sit with Jimmy Garoppolo being the starter, but I can see how people can get wrapped up in this and say, hey, this guy has a path to it because of the problems that he causes with his legs and this arm that he can make throws with. The only thing I haven't seen Trey Lance really do is drop things into buckets, right? Everything is a fastball over the middle. He hasn't had to put any. He hasn't had to put any.
He tried yesterday and got the pass broken up by Marcel Harris.
Exactly. Everything that I've seen is over the middle. He's throwing it. He's getting it to him. And that's no slight at him or anything like that.
Or he can go outside the numbers on a line as well.
Correct. Yeah. So we haven't seen him have to drop things into a bucket. I saw Jimmy Garoppolo do that today twice. Yes. I did see that today. So there's the only hesitance I have. So it's hard for me to change, especially because you've seen 4, I've seen 2. But Trey Lance did an amazing job today putting stress on the defense, and DeMeco Ryans talked about it after because that's how bad they looked trying to defend him with the second team.
Peripheral Vision says thanks for the content.
Appreciate you.
So E. Kim says, Grant, are you doing a Cohn phone tomorrow? No, I'm doing a Cohn zone tomorrow. I hadn't done my show with my dad all week, and we're going to do a special Sunday version. The Cohn phone will return. Don't worry. It's just training camp puts everything on hold. It's crazy times out here. Curtis says, sounds like Jimmy G and Bad Jimmy showed up today. Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's go.
Yeah. So my question to you, 2 days in camp, has Jimmy Garoppolo improved in your opinion?
So it depends on what you're talking about improved. Okay, so what you're talking about with improved, that I think in my eyes is how many turnover worthy plays, right? Where throws where guys are knocking passes down. Okay, because Jimmy Garoppolo at this point in his career is who he is. That's it. Like you're not going to change how this guy is. It's short, intermediate throws, decisive, quick. Okay, look. In the same breath that he threw that pick 6 to Fred Warner today, he threw that pick to Jason Barrett. Once he double clutched, I went, oh no, don't. And he lined it up and he threw it, and it was literally like a punt. Jason Barrett stood there and waited for it to come down to him, and he brought it in. I don't necessarily say improved, but I did see some amazing throws today. So in contrast, this is the contrast. Literally yesterday, we did our show. We talked about average depth of target from the line of scrimmage to 5 yards. That's it, right? When it came to today, his first throw, 15 yards down the line. The out to Ayuk in the post, beautiful throw, right in the bucket. Like Ayuk didn't have to do anything but run his route and put his hands out. It's exactly how you draw it up. So for those 2 bad plays, that Ross Dwelley throw over the middle, you have to admit that was a really
perfect.
Nice throw.
Like
yes,
that was the best throw of camp for him.
Yes. So it is good Jimmy and bad Jimmy. So he threw the pick and then he bounced back, which is what we've seen him do when he's on the field. And he he'll throw the pick. He comes right back he did well. So I don't even know if I could say improved, because what is he improving on? And necessarily it's those turnover worthy plays, and you saw that pop up twice today. But it's practice. That's when you take your shots. You're going to take those chances. Hopefully you don't take them in the game. So I'm interested to see where you're at with it because you've seen him for 4 days. What I saw yesterday was a guy who took every check down that he could. What I saw today was a guy who actually was throwing the ball in the middle of the field outside the hashes. He had a beautiful throw to Mostert 2 on that wheel route. That Azeez Al-Shaair was in. Yeah, Azeez Al-Shaair was absolutely in perfect position. Mostert just made a great play. It was exactly where it needed to be. So Jimmy Garoppolo actually really performed well today. It's everybody gets swept up in the 2 interceptions, and that's fine. The first one was bad. Fred Warner jumped in on a slant throw. It's like literally, so it's funny. The throws that he wasn't making, he was making, and then the throws that he was making was like those quick slants was the one that got picked. So it's almost like Fred was just sitting there like, okay, it's going to happen. It's going to come. And then he got it, So it's hard for me to say that he's improved, but he did look pretty good today in a lot of throws, and I just want to make sure that context is added.
Yeah, more context. The defense is missing 6 starters.
Yes.
Okay, no Bosa, no Kinlaw, no Ford, no Tart, Greenlaw, no Tart, no Mosley. So, and he still threw 2 picks. And my issue with the picks is, well, the first one, I mean, Warner was the flat defender. He was just there, and he threw it to him anyway. You didn't see him. You didn't look. You just threw it, pick six. I've seen him do that before. I can't think of another quarterback in the NFL who consistently misses, doesn't see underneath linebackers. I've never seen anything like it. It's like he's been doing it for years, and I don't get it, man. He's right there. He was right there.
Right. Yeah, that one was bad. So that one was bad. That one was bad. I'm not gonna lie. That one was bad. The other one is like, okay, it doesn't matter. It's practice. He double clutched. Even I don't even know if he would have got it off at the right time that it would have been completed, but he had to let it go when he saw it. He double clutched it and then he let it go, and that was the worst thing he could have did at that point.
Here's the thing about the second one. So I'm a little bit closer. When it happened, Debo comes back furious. He was the intended receiver. He was open. He comes back like, what the hell? Let it go. And that's the thing that's gonna happen. Like, Jimmy's going to lose his job if he loses Debo. If Debo's out here like, I want Lance. I saw it happen with Colin Kaepernick. Like, when Alex Smith lost Michael Crabtree, it was over. As soon as Colin Kaepernick went in and Crabtree was like, yeah, that guy's great. And Vernon Davis was like, yeah, that guy's great. End of story. The team has shifted. It's on to this guy now. They all feel like he's going to make him better. And I feel like that could be happening with Debo already, because the way I look at it with Debo, he already feels like Garoppolo has made Debo seem like he's a limited player. And Lance is bringing out this deep threat aspect of his game. Could have had another touchdown today, but Jimmy botched it. And he was pissed. I saw it. So that's how Lance is going to win this. That's how Jimmy could lose the job, when he loses the stars around him.
I can't speculate on that because obviously you've been covering the team a lot longer than I have. It's a good point for sure. And he definitely had a step. I saw it too. I was like, but when he double clutched it, that was it. It was enough of a And one more thing, I know this has nothing to do with Jimmy Garoppolo. Debo Samuel looks like a reborn man. And I don't know what it is. He's heard everything that everybody has said that is negative about him. And he is showing out. These last 2 days, he's been incredible. He's always open. He always seems to be in the right spot. Debo Samuel is really working. So that in that portion, he was open. He won the route. He should be frustrated because he won the route. And I just heap praise on Jason Verrett for locking everybody up. He didn't lock up Debo on that play. The only reason he recovered is because he had time to recover on the route. So
that's right. James says, who sings Radioactive? I don't know, but thanks for the donation.
Imagine Dragons? I don't know.
Probably. Jeremy Price says Mac Trey will be a monster, but rushing the kid just isn't right. Jeremy, I love you. I'm excited to see him too, but let's wait. Jimmy's our guy until he's not.
It's hard for me to say. I've only been there for 2 days, and I can only say what I've seen so far. I want to see what happens when the pads go on. That's what I really want to see. Like, I think next week is going to be very, very telling when it comes to this. But Grant, I can't disagree with too many things that you've said today about what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo, the underneath linebacker. How do you not see Fred Warner, of all people, on this defense? But like I said, at the same time, there was some really good throws in there. And he started off hot. The first, the third throw, it was a completion to Raheem Mostert, but it would have been a sack. Eric Armstead actually beat Trent Williams, and he was on his way towards him. He just, they weren't going to hit him, and they just let the play go. So, but he looked good on certain throws, man. I just don't want that to get lost in the discussion.
Yeah, but Jeremy, what you're saying is you're excited to see him. What I'm telling you is the Niners are seeing him. Things are changing. They're seeing him. He's doing it day in and day out, and Jimmy Garoppolo is still Jimmy Garoppolo. So the team is getting excited. The players are getting excited. I'm just letting you know what's You haven't seen him yet, but Debo's seen him. Debo's seen the difference. I've seen the difference. And you're going to worked out with him. Yeah, you're going to see it too soon. I'm just letting you know. This guy. Did you hear Matt Mayoko today talk about Trey Lance? Look,
he looks like the number 3 pick.
Yes, I have the utmost respect for Matt Mayoko. Matt Mayoko is the OG of this beat. Yes. He's been on it the longest. When he talks, he has the best feel for the
organization.
He knows how, the feel of the organization. And today, he's been all on Garoppolo. It's not about Lance. It's all basically the company line. Today it was
I see
Lance,
why they took him at
It's
third.
all Lance. Yeah. So it's hey, man, if Mayoko's saying it, then they're probably all saying it in there. And I'm seeing it. It doesn't take – look, hey, man, Stevie Wonder can see it, man. Stevie Wonder can see that. I'm just saying, Jeremy, you're going to see it too. You're going to see it too. You're going to learn. You're going to learn today. Jason says, if Jimmy has a bad camp and the Niners can't build up trade interest, do you think they will cut him or will we just keep that contract? P.S. Love the shows. Thank you. No, I think they can trade him, man. I think they can. If they pick up some of the money, someone's going to want him. I don't know what they'll get if he keeps throwing 2 picks in practices, and he'll keep tanking his own value. But, no, I think he's worth something. I do. I think it's something for him.
I think that he stays. I think that he sticks if he doesn't win the job. And as much as I don't like the idea of paying a backup quarterback $26 million, you have to think about this, right? Kyle Shanahan is tired of having backup quarterbacks that he has to go to and just know that, oh, my God, I have to do almost everything. Listen, Jimmy Garoppolo is far and away better than Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, and Jimmy Garoppolo would be the best backup quarterback in football. There, I said it easily. Like, if that's the case. If that's what happens, that's what happens. So I think that this team is primed to try to make a run this year. So if, God forbid, something happens to Trey Lance, let's say he starts. So God forbid something happens to him. Maybe he starts playing bad, or maybe, God forbid, he gets injured. God forbid he gets injured. Having that comfort of knowing that you could turn it back over to Jimmy Garoppolo, who can execute the offense at least to some level. And, you've shown that you can win, especially with a good running game and defense. Let me just play the safe role. I'm going to take in all the safe bets, Grant. All the safe bets. That's it. I'm going to take all the safe bets. So I like the idea of that as much as I don't like the idea of paying him that much money. And also, I think that I don't know what he's worth at this point on the trade value. I really don't. And it may just be better for them to hold on to him this year, have him as a backup quarterback as insurance for Lance, and then just get rid of him next year.
First, I'm sorry, I just had a visceral reaction when you said it. First 49ers first take says, thought you were being hard on her with the McKinnon comment, but you're 100% right. Hey, man, dude didn't even show up to practice today. Yeah, they said it was a maintenance day. Then he's not there the second day. I'm like, okay, well, then what's the real story?
Listen, for everything that they said about D Ford retiring, he's been out there every single day, man. I don't know, bro. I'm nervous now.
If D Ford can show up every day, then where the hell is Jalen Hurts?
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm not going to bring up the drafting again because I was getting killed in the comments for saying that, they passed on Terry McLaurin for Hurd, but they did. All right, so I said it. I'm nervous. I really am nervous. Yesterday, so for Coach to come out and say it was a maintenance day yesterday, and for them to just not say anything about him today at all. Come on, please.
Jalen, where are you? We're waiting to see you, Jalen. It's year 3.
I like that you said it.
We'll see you Monday.
Imagine dragging these balls in your face. Damn, you got me. Boom.
Wow. I can't believe I did.
You set me up for the joke and I got it right. That was great. He nailed that.
All right.
Excellent work.
So you already answered the question, but I want to talk about this because I might have a different answer. Are Nate Sudfeld and Josh Rosen quality backups?
Let me tell you this. Nate Sudfeld on drills and 11 on 11. He looked good today, boy. Yes, sir. 6 for 6. Good for Nate. 6 for 6. The ball looks nice coming out of his hands. Like and listen, don't dispute the Scangarello connection. He had him in Philly. He knows that you can kind of rely on him. The quarterback 3 battle is heating up. It is heating up. But today, Nate Sudfeld,
neither of them have gotten many reps. Like they haven't. No. It's taken them some time to get some rhythm. And now, sorry. But yes.
Nate Sudfeld looked good. As bad as he looked yesterday, and he made some bad throws today, he was just as good, man. He threw some darts. He throws a nice ball. The ball comes out as a spiral.
It's catchable.
Yes.
He can throw from different arm angles. He can buy a little time. He's 6'7", so he's gangly. I mean, it's just a little awkward. It's almost like he's like trying to look smaller than he is, but he's huge. Pretty good. Yeah,
he was good today, and I watched him during drills, and I watched I watched Juice, I watched Hasty and Mitchell run routes. They basically were running choice routes where they just it was 1-on-1 with somebody. Juice. So I know this is gonna like play right into what you've been saying, but Juice runs really good routes and was getting himself open against good players, and they don't use him. I was so shocked today watching him run routes.
He's fantastic.
And I was like, man, look at this guy.
He's fantastic.
And Sudfeld was putting it on him. He ran the choice route to the outside. Boom, Sudfeld had the ball right in his chest. And Sudfeld looked really good today, man. I have to say. I know that quarterback 3 doesn't matter, but for me, I think Nate Sudfeld took a leg up today on Josh Rosen. 1, because he had more passing attempts and reps.
6, Rosen had 3.
Yeah. And 2, he completed all of them, and they all looked good. It was, Rosen's one completion was off a deflection. Come on.
No. He had 2. The other one was the play action dunk.
Yeah. But that other one was a tip off Sanu and Dwelley caught it and he would have ran it for a touchdown. That's not how you get it done.
Yeah, but that's
Ross Dwelley looked really good today.
Can we just talk about Ross Dwelley real quick?
For sure. Go for it.
Dude, he looked fit. Look, so Kittle's not playing. Dwelley starts, and he makes like 3 catches, 4 catches. One of them was like the Matrix. He like went up and had the slow motion.
That's the Jimmy one.
So nice. And I don't know if you saw it, but in one-on-ones, basically there's 3 one-on-ones happening at once. He had one rep where he beat Tavon Wilson for about 30 yards up. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I was taking notes on that because obviously George Kittle's not there, right? Jordan Matthews comes in. Jordan Matthews had a tough time separating today, and he dropped the pass, and he just couldn't bring in passes. That's Jordan Matthews. That is Jordan Matthews. Yeah. But Ross Dwelley really separated himself today, and I think that tight end 2 job is done. It's locked up.
That's how he caught my eye a couple of years ago in one-on-ones. I don't know if you got to look at him, but there is something about him that is just he's got a little bit of shake to him. I don't know he's not fast, but he's big as hell. He's got really soft hands, and he's got that little shake at the top of his route, and he's tough to cover.
Yeah, no, he was good today. He was really good. He made an amazing catch on it. That Jimmy throw was that might have been his best throw. That 20 yards over the middle. Again, our average depth of target.
Double coverage in the perfect spot where only Dwelley could get it. I mean, it was beautiful.
So say something nice about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I don't know that Lance would have hit that with the same ball location that Jimmy did. That was a really nice throw. Yeah. Like what the way Lance impresses you is like driving it outside the numbers the way Jimmy doesn't, or actually throwing the ball down the field like 40 yards like Jimmy does.
With air under it.
But like you pointed out, like Jimmy has all these touch throws that we really haven't seen from Lance yet. So that's a really good point. Yeah. That is true. Ominous says, come on, guys, listen 24 hours and you forget Jalen Hurts is working through the details and evaluating.
Is that going to be the joke now?
God. I'm just working through the details and evaluating. You know that Young Thug meme where he's like looking very seriously at the computer? That's Nick Bosa. trying to work through the details and evaluate. Maruna says, so you were saying Mullins used to beat Jimmy G in practice, but still Jimmy had the starting job, and he thought same might happen here. Yeah, okay. So Jimmy is just objectively better in games. Like he can have bad practices. And you're like,
he's not a practice player, and everybody knows that. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Like, does he not take it seriously? Is he not competitive? Does he need the edge of the adrenaline to actually, I don't know what it is, but Mullins is a grinder who is playing the same way in practices as he does in games. Jimmy G is just, I don't know, more laid back, or I don't know what it is.
He's a Sunday player, and I think he just needs the juice of the game, the adrenaline. It's really baffling, honestly, because even before I started covering camp, which is only 2 days into my career right now, but the book was always out that he was a practice player that wasn't very good at that.
John Lynch said the same thing to me when I had him on Periscope. One of my first guests, he said, "Yeah, he's just better when the bullets are flying."
Okay. Good.
Jeremy says, on another note, that gloves off best dubs spent this. Thank you for buying my dad's book. I appreciate it. It is nice. A good book. I highly recommend it, Jeremy. You're the best.
Nice.
4D9R says, oh, I get it. Haha. 49er says, based off today's play-for-play by you, Grant, Jimmy had 115 yards, 2 turnovers versus Trey's 65 yards passing and 1 turnover. Wouldn't that be better? I don't know.
Because 65 yards, that doesn't account for those rushing yards. Like literally, I'm telling you that on those on those read options, those are 40, 50-yard gains. Like seriously, that's how far away the defense was from him. So, and that stress, again, if he's continuously getting those reps and that stress of him running and Kyle implementing that, it's so much more dangerous at this point. I might be talking myself into it a little bit more now that I'm talking about it, but the stress that he put on the defense and the way Trey was moving, it was different. It was a different vibe, honestly. And it just, Jimmy just stepped back. He's waiting, looking. Okay, dump off. Or waiting, look up, drop, like down the field. Like with Trey, he saw the angle, and maybe he doesn't look at, all the receivers, but he's out and he knows that he can get 10. I'd rather take the given 10 than you trying to throw it and try to see what happens, if that makes any sense.
Also, I mean, you're like, I think Lance had more yards total. And also the 2 turnovers for Garoppolo were bad. Lance's turnover, the way I saw it, was
Arden Key was in the backfield.
Yeah,
and
it was on the right tackle. It was on Tom Compton. Like Tom Compton whiffed. Arden Key came in and just took the ball from the.
Got nervous, like he was handing the ball and he just was like, tried to step away, and the ball just ended up it wasn't necessarily anything that Trey did. It's just that Arden Key was blowing that play up. That's
Tom Compton whiffed.
Oh,
Tom Compton's the right tackle.
Imagine. Oh God, please help us all.
He was the second team right tackle today. Sean Coleman was the left tackle. So
please no.
Trey Lance is really, really good. And
please no. Mike McGlinchey, stay healthy. Mike McGlinchey, stay healthy, please.
Yup. Matthew says, every time they appear together, Trey looks better than Jimmy. Do the Niners hide Trey and put Jimmy on a pedestal as the season looms? Trade value. Yeah, but then Jimmy does stuff like today, and you can't hide that. And what's funny is, instead of trying to justify it, everyone was just like, how about that Trey Lance, though? How about that Trey Lance?
Well, it's a good thing that we can't take videos. Like, they're very strict with the whole, like, you can't, like, take any sort of videos on 11 on 11. So they would just have to go. Exactly. They would just have to go off of what people say.
One-on-one until Marquise Goodwin roasted Richard Sherman, and that was the end of that. Thank you.
Well, this is all news to me, and I'm glad that I'm learning all this now. So
that was viral. It had millions and millions of views.
Wow.
Okay, so Mike McGlinchey having a decent camp, much better than last year. Spoke to the press today, and said he weighs between 315 and 320 pounds. He said last year he was below 290 at times. What do you think of him putting on damn near 30 pounds and the way he looks so far?
That's great. First of all, he talked about a New Jersey pork roll. Shout out to New Jersey. And that's great. That's what helped him. He said he had to stay away from that because it was, pushing it too forward. But I think the important comments that he made in the press conference about the mental aspect of what he did last year and the still here comment and all these other, things. I think that he acknowledged that wasn't the way to go about it. He seems to be in a good mindset, and he's done everything right. He has done everything right, everything that anybody could ask. There's no bullets flying right now. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to translate into the season. But right now, he's doing everything right, saying all the right things, put on the right weight, looks fine in practice, have no issue with it. Mike McGlinchey right now, no complaints with you right now, bro. I enjoy everything that you're doing right now, and you're doing things the way that you should be at this point.
And I'm pulling for him. There's something I like him. There was something about him last year that I think the reason I was so hard on him was he was annoying me the way he talked. Like he was so defensive and kind of.
But he admitted that.
Yeah, like he was talking like he was a 35, like he was Joe Staley. Okay, Joe Staley's gone, and now I'm Joe Staley. And I was like, no.
The C kind of got to his head a little bit.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. Yeah, I felt like, man, you're not playing well enough to talk about other people's problems. Just talk about yourself. And that's why I think I was too hard on him. So I actually still regret a lot of that. And he's even talked about it was such a hard year. I made it harder for him. Mental health is a real thing. So he came in today and I was a little ashamed. I was like, man, I got to face this guy. So I asked him about 5 questions just to see where we stood. And God love him, man. He was so he looked me in the eye, gave me good answers. He could have said, I'm not talking to him. I'm not answering his questions. He didn't do that. He's much more grown up and professional than me. I appreciate you, Mike. I do. Thank you very much. And I still owe you an apology. I'll come see you at your locker when I'm allowed in there. But today, he had the opportunity to punch me in the face, and to his credit, he didn't. So I just want to say thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for not ruining your career by hitting a beat writer. Yeah, I don't know how much credit I got. Yeah, I don't know how much credit I give him for that. But no, I will say this: it's good to hear him say that he knows that he didn't handle things correctly last year, and that's a maturity thing. Mike McGlinchey's a smart guy. When you go to Notre Dame, they don't prioritize athletics over your grades. You have to actually really be good at school and get grades in Notre Dame. Like, you can't just walk in there and be one of those guys. Like, you can go to Alabama probably and have someone stand in for you real quick and some that's not how it works. Yes, well, let's see. Depending on the program, the coach. But in Notre Dame, that's never been a thing. And he's a smart guy, and I think he understands the psychology of what he was saying. And again, he's done everything right. He's saying all the right things. He's put on the weight. He looks fine at camp. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited that he understood where he made some mistakes last year outside of his play.
I said to him, Mike, it sounds like last year was the toughest year of your life.
Yeah.
How did it make you better in any way? And he was like, absolutely. Like, I needed to realize that pressure is a privilege. Yeah, I was like, that's such an interesting concept.
He's smart.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I get that, and I feel he has a much better mindset. Like, the good athletes are the ones who aren't affected by the Twitter GMs or trolls, as he puts it. Like, look at Jimmy Ward. Every time someone slights him, he's like, that guy just don't know. I'm going to have to show him. And I love that about him. It's like, it's just another opportunity to prove someone wrong and convert someone. And that's Mike McGlinchey's attitude now. And that's the attitude you have to be a top-level professional athlete. And he's still young. He's still on his rookie deal, so he's learning. Good for you, Mike.
Yes.
We applaud you. Good stuff.
Yep. Doing all the right things. Go for it, Mike.
Arden Key is interesting.
Yes.
Arden Key's young too. He was with the Raiders. I liked Arden Key when he came out of LSU. I thought he was a hell of a natural pass rusher. I know there were some reasons he dropped in the draft, but basically some guys can bend around the edge and some guys can't. He can do it. And he had like no sacks for the Raiders. I don't know what happened. They gave up on him. Niners got him, and they have Chris Kosser. And as soon as it happened, I was like, this is the kind of thing that he can work with. Also, in the chat, Barry Baller 18 has been hyping this dude up forever.
Good, yeah, that's a good call. That's a great call. That's a great call.
I was a little skeptical. I hadn't seen much, but he's been flashing the last couple of days.
Yes.
What have you seen from Arden?
I mean, he blew up that play with Trey Lance. He got in so quickly that he was like
in Clowney college play, right?
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even want to like hand the ball off, like, and that's why it fell. And then look, it's one thing to cause the fumble. He picked it up, and that's a touchdown. That's a play. That's something that, look, essentially right here, essentially like this. The 49ers kind of swapped Solomon Thomas for Arden Key.
And Maurice Hurst. Like when the Raiders did that, I was like, guys, you guys are so I
don't know if they're so I don't know if they're so dumb, but I will applaud the 49ers for is
so dumb.
You can say that. I can't say that. I applaud the 49ers for always taking chance on athletes and always taking chance on guys who are spark score guys and Chris Kosser getting what they got out of him. Arden Key has been very promising. He looks incredible these last 2 days. We've been covering, me and Jordan, Splash Cousin of Niners Nation, shout out to him. We've been covering, he's been big on him and been talking to me about him for a while too as well. But he has been flashing the entire time with the second team. How much of that has to do with Tom Compton? How much of that has to do with his own skill? That's one or two things. But I will say this. The 49ers will not be able to be as top-heavy as they were in 2019 because you're not going to get a better four than Bosa, Ford, Armstead, Buckner on a line. But this defensive line might be deeper, 100% deeper than it was.
Actually.
Yes.
It's more important. You need to be like 7 deep to have a dominant D line. Because if you're not 7 deep, then you're only going to have a dominant D line for like 3 quarters.
3 quarters, and that's it. And it's about the fresh legs, and it's about being. DJ Jones looks good. Arden Key looks good. And this defensive line, as much as again, top heavy 2019 can't beat those 4. Depth wise, it's deeper than 2019 so far from what I've seen, and that's no hyperbole or anything like that.
Started deep, but then Blair went down. Guys went down. Yep. It happens. At least the Niners got guys now. I mean, D4 actually.
He's playing. He showed up with the ones yesterday, and today he made his way later, and he was working on the side 11 on 11 is good. It doesn't matter. Like I said, get D4 ready for Sundays and put him in on passing downs, and that's it.
No. In the sense that he hasn't been in a competitive portion yet. Neither is D4, neither is Bosa, neither is Hurt. But of all those guys, Ford looks the closest to coming back.
He looks good. He looks good. He doesn't look like he has many limitations. When I see him moving, because it's good, because when 11 on 11s are happening, in between plays, I'll take a look and I'll look over and I'll see D Ford moving and running. And I'm like, man, he has no limitations at all. And it's an amazing thing. The thing that I took away was today, the team comes out first. They run their little drills real quick, with no helmets on. So Bosa was there. Kinlaw was there, but they were just running like soft rushes and things like that. But this D4 thing is really encouraging. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but he is looking fine, I think. And they're doing exactly what they should be doing. Don't get him ready for Sunday. Get him ready for Sunday. That's it. Stop messing around with practice. That's been his MO since he came out of college. Don't change things. No, he didn't. He got 0 targets.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
When? Let me look.
He got 1. Can
you
remember? He got 1.
I can't. No.
He didn't catch it. Someone else caught it.
Oh, come on.
He was the intended receivers. No joke.
He was. But in drills, Juice was killing every defender in front of him. I cannot overemphasize this.
He never gets any targets. He got 1 today and it was picked off. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. The ball shouldn't have gone. It was not his fault to say that. Anyway, free Juice.
Yeah.
Free Juice. Grant, what about when Nick Bosa collapsed during what? What are you talking about? That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Curtis says, is it time to hit the panic button on Ambry Thomas? No, I just haven't. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see something I like from Ambry. It hasn't happened the first 4 days. He hasn't played football in a couple of years. But neither is Lance, and I like the way Lance is playing. So, I guess I just feel like with corners taken after the 100th pick, I just have low expectations.
I have major concerns with Ambry Thomas.
Okay.
And this is based off of his game film from 2019. His best game where he had an interception and 2 PBUs against Michigan State. He had those pass interferences where the guy's ahead of him and he just tackles the guy. And mind you, Michigan was destroying Michigan State in this game. This is his best game statistically. I have concerns, man. I really have concerns. He had another pass interference today on Debo. And a few of these that I'm looking at, right out to Debo on Lance on his third throw, Ambry Thomas was in coverage. I am scared. I am very nervous. I have very deep concerns with Ambry Thomas. I really do. I do not think it's as simple as just throw him out there as a number 2. It doesn't matter if this is what I was talking about. If Mosley goes down, I am very afraid of this number 2 spot. Demo looks way better
all offseason, man. They should have made a more concerted effort.
Steven Nelson, AJ Boye, any of these guys were out there for you to get for nothing. Those guys, their market dried up. Steven Nelson signed with the Philadelphia Eagles for nothing. Nothing.
And the problem here is like it's not just Ambry that's not playing well. It's like Tim Harris Jr. is starting.
Yes.
The backup is Dante Johnson. There's also a guy named Mark Fields, the second.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Diamador Lenore.
He's the only one. He looks better than Thomas. That's not even
okay. So they're in a position where Diamador Lenore currently is their second best corner.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, no, they do. They've been had a problem. We've been talked about this. That's the biggest concern that I've had. Been had. That's a Jersey thing coming out. That's that. Jersey
I like that. I say that too.
No, they've had a problem. They really have. And now I'm now that I've gotten to see him 2 days in a row, I am scared to death of this idea that he would be the. I hate the people that come to me and tell me it's plug and play. Based on what? Based on what? Because you really can't point it out to me.
He hasn't earned anything, man. He just
oh my goodness.
He gets target, he loses.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like the Niners took him. They're like, look, we need a corner, but we took Banks and Sermon. So this guy is he's got good size at pick 103. He's got good speed at pick 103. I mean, let's bet on his upside. When I see him, I don't see a guy who's like a super athlete. I mean, like, he kind of reminds me, he was drafted a little bit after Chris Culliver. Chris Culliver was a better athlete than him.
And, other stuff that you watch on film, and look, this is no slight at him, but Chase Claypool whipped him in that Notre Dame game. Whipped him. And Chase Claypool's a baller, though, but that's NFL talent. That's what scares me. Chase Claypool's an NFL receiver, and Chase Claypool whipped him. And, man, when I look back at his film, I was able to get my hands on some of his college film. Oh my goodness, I was not impressed. Like, I just wasn't like, this sticking to the receiver. He tackles guys when the play is past him, and that's what he did today with Debo. And that's why
in college, because it's a 15-yard penalty, but it's a spot foul in the NFL. Look, I feel like the Niners are they're constantly gonna they're not ever gonna address the secondary the way they should, because they're always gonna be like, well, when we have Bosa, Ford, and Kinlaw, like we won't. They'll all look good. Like, okay, well, you better have Bosa, Ford, and Kinlaw then, because you're
an injury away.
Yeah,
you're an injury away from a very big problem, and there's nobody out there left anymore. Steven Nelson signed. There's nobody out there for you to get. Go.
A little Dove says, Grant, do you hate Jimmy because he got with Kier and Mia and you couldn't?
Well, we're out of her pay grade. We're out of her pay grade. We don't make enough to make that happen. So I
felt like that was almost a setup that he or a dare. Like someone was like, hey, yo, we set you up on a date. Why don't you go? And he was like, and it's like, oh, great. I always felt like there was some kind of funny about that. Like, I don't get the feeling that Jimmy Garoppolo saw it coming, or he just seemed so shy. It almost felt like something, a prank your buddy would pull on you. You're very real.
My issue with it was, don't take her on no date. Come on, man. What are you doing?
hey, as Dave Chappelle once said, that ain't no dinner thing.
That ain't no dinner thing.
That ain't no
100%.
Mike says, how does Greenlaw and other linebackers look, excluding Warner? Greenlaw has a blister and didn't play today. What do you think of Azeez Al-Shaair?
He actually was really good today. He was good. He was in because, like I said, that catch with the Mostert thing, he was in good coverage. It was a great throw. It was a better catch by Mostert. That's it.
Hey, can we say real quick on how good that catch was by Mostert?
Yes, it was incredible. He jumped up. It was in the perfect spot. Again, this is the difference between a jump ball and giving your guy a chance. He put it in a spot where only he could get it, and Alshire did everything
Jimmy
right.
did it twice today.
Yep.
Twice.
Yep.
With Mosley and Mostert. And Mostert, you don't think of him as being a great receiver because he doesn't run that like super tough choice route or whatever you want to call it.
Elijah Mitchell's the best receiving running back on his team.
You saw him one-on-one.
I'm just telling you
that.
Saw
him one-on-ones, right?
Yes.
But Mostert has good size. He has good. He was a wide receiver in college. He is pretty good receiver. That was a nice catch.
It was an amazing play. Yeah, it really
Tell
was.
Tell us about Elijah Mitchell real quick before we
Elijah Mitchell is the best running back as far as receiving on this team, and he hasn't even taken a snap in an NFL game yet.
That was right in front of you, right?
Yes. I got to watch. I was just like, wow, the kid has great feet. He set his defender up on the choice route, and when he gets the ball in his hands, if he gets like the same way that Mostert took that in last year, that Arizona game, he took that to the house. That's the same thing Elijah Mitchell can do, but I think that he runs better routes than him, and he's not limited to just those choice routes. Elijah Mitchell is the best receiving running back on his team, and he has not taken one snap in the NFL. Mark me down. Don't at me. I'm not taking replies.
A6 says Jimmy did the pump and dump. The thing about Jimmy that I want to say earlier that has Jimmy improved, he still takes too long going through progressions. If the first one is there, if the first read is there and he has a clear shot, he'll take it. He's good. But when it's time to go to number 2, he lingers on number 1 too long, and he's late to number 2. And that is the source of his problems. That is Jimmy. That is Jimmy. And
also, I'll go back to it. Verrett did a great job today.
That is this. That's that. That's what I'm talking about. And like, remember at the end, he had that throw where like he's looking left and he's coming back. And like Austin Watkins is like doing like the
he was wide open in the flat. Yeah.
And he finally sees him and throws it in the ground. It's like
the one that kind of bothered me too. Let me look through my notes real quick. Let me make sure I get it. The last one to River Craycraft. So it was a zone by the defense. Craycraft runs the underneath route. It was right there. Like all you had to do was like if you're able to decipher what they're doing, but like he was literally open, and then he tried to come back to him, and it was already too late. The defense had covered it up, and it ended in incompletion. Craycraft was open as soon as the play happens. If he looks over at Craycraft immediately and gets it out, it's a catch, and Craycraft can get 6-7. But by the time he went through the progression and got back to him, it was already an incompletion. So I will give you that portion.
That's
okay.
All right, last topic. In your opinion, most improved player from last year?
Deebo Samuel.
Okay, for sure.
Deebo Samuel is he heard everything that you said. He heard everything that everybody has said. Not you, I'm talking about Grant. Everything that anybody said.
He heard what I said. He put my voice in some of his stuff. Hey, you're welcome. I got you anytime you need it, baby.
Glorified running back, only a guy who can catch the ball, yards after catch, injury prone. Listen, he's running deeper routes. He's winning down the field. He's winning jump balls. He's winning. He is open consistently. Today, on Jimmy's first pass, it was a comeback route. He put his body into Verrett, pushed him away, and created a separation. It was subtle enough that the ref didn't see it, and I caught it, but he's learning how to win. He's perfecting his craft. Deebo Samuel has been electric, and I've been loving watching him these last 2 days. And, Jimmy put the ball right on him. Credit to Jimmy. But that deep ball shot, whatever you want to say, the safety should have made a play. Cool, whatever. Deebo Samuel's winning down the field. And like you said, Deebo Samuel whipped Jason Verrett on that route. He had him. He had to step on him. By the time Jimmy let it go, Verrett was able to recover. But Deebo Samuel heard everything that you've been saying, that everybody's been saying, that even me, what I said on your show, he heard all of that. And I am really excited for him. The prospects of him this year, as long as he stays healthy, my goodness, the sky's the limit for this kid, man. He looks amazing.
I agree. He's also, in my opinion, the MVP of the team in camp so far. It's been 4 days. I think he's the MVP of the team in camp. I'm going to go defense, though. I want to add to this discussion. On defense, it's Contavious Street.
Wow.
This guy. Okay, so he did nothing his first 2 years. He was hurt, and he's been even last year. I never really saw much from him in camp. He looks like he's been healthy for a while, and he looks like he's been improving for a while. And, geez, I mean, he looks like a hell of a player. He looks incredibly strong, really freaking big, really freaking fast, low to the ground. I think they have something there. I think he's every bit as good as DJ Jones. I don't know if he can play, if they need him to play 800 snaps, but if they could get 400 snaps from him, look, I'm not even convinced that Javon Kinlaw is better than Kentavious Street, is what I'm trying to say. I think Street has really established himself as someone who may deserve a start. And they sent him the podium today, which means that they really like him. And D'Amico was talking all about him. So he's turning heads. He was a 4th-round pick who would have been drafted much higher, but he tore his ACL leading up to the draft. He seems like after 3 or 4 years, he's actually like back to what he used to be. I like Kentavious Street.
I mean, it's easier for you to see that because you are closer, and again, it's tough for me to evaluate with no pads. I can't wait till the pads go on.
That's a good point.
I can't wait till the pads go on because with no pads that lends itself to the defense. But I've heard good things. You're not the only one who's saying these things as well too.
I was zeroed in on him against Aaron Banks today. That was with the twos, and I felt like Street was beating him consistently, getting in the backfield, and was a big reason that Trey Lance was scrambling.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's a good point. I mean, look, you know what's hard about it is I'm trying to take notes.
Yes.
I'm talking.
You can't see.
Yeah, and I don't have an all 22 to go back and look because people are like, "What are the plays?" So it's I'm trying to like, yeah, it is.
It's a sport in and of itself, and I have 11 years of experience at it.
It is, and you guys who are able to send tweets while taking notes and everything, like I tried to do all that today, and I was trying to, people were trying to talk to me too as well, and I don't want to be that guy, and I had a blast. Like I said today, I got recognized because of you. People came up to me and were like, "Oh, you're Jason from Grant Show, and I watch your YouTube." And a guy asked for a picture. It was so weird, I swear. So I mean, I'm not trying to like flex or anything like that, but I'm just saying it was distracting while we were talking. I
got the same thing. Like a lot of times, I'm by myself on the sideline, and like when a writer comes over, I like all the writers, but I'm like, damn it, like I gotta get away. Like I'm not trying to talk, dude. I'm just trying to focus. So yeah, I totally feel that because so much is happening. And you can't see it all. You can't. You definitely can't write it all. So it's like, let me write as much as I possibly can and see if I can remember it afterward. Because I'm trying to tell you all the things I know. That's what you want. You want me to like, unleash the notebook, and I'm trying.
Right. And people ask me questions like, "How does this guy look?" Well, I don't even remember what reps he necessarily was on. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's a little bit harder than people realize. Yeah.
Yes. Will the Niners have the best run game in the NFL?
With Trey Lance, they will.
Starts.
Yep. With Trey Lance, they will.
Jinx. Fernando says, just show my support. Go Niners. Hey, thank you so much, Fernando. That's hella nice. And let's end on that. The show is over, folks. I'm
go relax.
Spent. I'm washed.
Go relax. Yeah,
I need a day. I'll be back tomorrow with my pops. Go have a nice night. Jason, great to see you, man. No, dude, you just hit it. Okay, Grant. How's Alfredo Gutierrez doing? Oh, good call.
He's massive.
Before I went, dude, I think he's got potential as a run blocker. In pass protection, I don't know. But as a run blocker, he's big as hell and he moves well. Like he had a nice combo block that Wayne Gallman came around to the left and had like a 15-yard. Remember that?
I remember exactly what you're talking about. Yes,
that was behind Gutierrez, man.
Yes.
So that's a good question.
He's massive. Question.
Twitch tonight, Grant. Please give me the night off. Please.
Go rest.
Please give me. I'm going to die. I've been working since 6:30 in the morning. I'm going down. Jason, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know why I did that. See ya.